Hey everybody, I'm back today with a different kind of video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I am feeling creatively frustrated, but specifically with playwriting. So as many of you know, I am a playwright and I write plays. Duh. Ooh. Basically, I wrote my first full-length play in January, etc. etc. And it wasn't very good, but it was 100 pages. That's pretty much a full-length play, 90 minutes or so. And I've been working on my second full-length play, and unfortunately the words are not coming. It's just not connecting with my brain. The page is not connecting with my brain. I don't know what this is. So today I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about playwriting and why I write plays, why I like to write plays, and a little bit about, I don't know, what playwriting is to me. Also, I've been teaching a playwriting class for the past however months or so we've been all in quarantine or whatever, and it's been really, really fun to actually gather my thoughts and make a sort of artistic statement, more on like what I think playwriting means to me and what I think playwriting is. Basically, an artistic statement is what you give to a theater or a person saying, this is what I believe with the arts. This is what I believe theater should be, this is what I believe the arts should be, this is what theater and the arts mean to me. But specifically, I'm going to be talking about playwriting in this video, so buckle up, because if you didn't know by now, this is going to be a bumpy ride. No, I did not write a script for this video. So for the past 3 months, I've been working on this play. It's called Stone Statue Play. That title will probably change once it's done. I've revised the ending about 3 times by now, I think. And it's just not coming together. It's just really, really not coming together. I think I'm making this video just to process where I'm at in my thoughts. Playwriting is, to me, speaking your truth on page, and fiction is that to an extent, where parts of yourself, or at least when I'm writing, parts of the author do somehow end up in what you're writing. I know there's the whole theory, death of an author. Not talking about that in this video. Too bad. Go away. But for me, playwriting and writing a play is about speaking your truth, seeing your truth end up in some way in these characters on stage in this play that's in a way that can be communicated between the characters, between the actors, with the audience. And if plays don't have some sort of truth in them, or at least what the playwright considers to be a truth, their truth, a truth of the world, then what is the play doing? And I think that last question is what I'm mainly struggling with in this play that I'm writing. What is it doing? What are my characters doing? What is the stone statue? What does it mean? Why is it there? And you're welcome, everybody. That's a bit on my process for playwriting. Honestly, I've been writing plays since 6th grade. It was what got me into theater. A lot of people say, oh wow, that's cool, because it's unusual for playwriting to get people into theater. Most people get into theater by acting or singing or whatever, performing. That's the umbrella. That's the umbrella we're going with. But for me, it was mainly playwriting and writing, and I think it's been just really, really great to get that avenue into theater, because I get the perspective of the words on the page and writing the words before acting them. You have to know what you're acting, you have to know what you're saying before acting it, before figuring out what to act. And I think approaching plays, approaching theater in a very literary sense has made me a nerd. Approaching plays in a very literary sense has been really, really helpful and constructive for my performing, for my acting, in that I can figure out what the playwright is saying just from the words on the page. There are several different, movements? No, like forms of thought in theater with acting, and one of them is like, don't ignore a word that the playwright wrote on the page. They are there for you. All the textual evidence is in the play right there for the actors. And I like to approach my performing with that in mind because I know how much words matter to playwrights, obviously, of course, because you're writing a play. It should matter in some way, should matter in some capacity to the playwright, but it should also matter to the actors. And if you want your words to matter to the actors, I'm using actors here specifically because they are the ones who are performing the words. Yes, directors, yes, designers, yes, everybody in that area are super, super, super important, like the most important on an equal playing field with actors, but for here I'm just talking about the words as they are said, as they are performed, and now I forget where I was going with this. Basically, with a play, you have to write words that give some bit of truth in them, otherwise the actors won't have anything to play with, they won't have anything to work with, and likewise the audience as well, because the audience needs to see the world or part of the world reflected on stage, reflected in what the characters are saying. And honestly, when I was growing up and testing my writing abilities, testing my playwriting abilities, I wrote a lot of Doctor Who and Lord of the Rings fanfiction. It's on the internet now. I'm not taking it back. I am not ashamed anymore. My first plays were fanfiction. You're welcome, BBC. You're welcome, Tolkien. But even then, those plays had a bit of truth in them. They had what I was experiencing, what I was watching in the world, what I wanted to talk about through this lens of, sure, fanfiction. And this is folding into a larger conversation about fanfiction, about how we see the world, about what we want to put out into the world. But let me get back to my struggles with this play that I'm writing. Basically, I'm just really struggling with what the characters are saying. No, not what they're saying, what they're meaning by their saying. And I'm struggling to make sure that it's not too heavy-handed and that at the same time I can get my message across. But I think the real problem here is that I don't even know what my message is, what I want this play to say, what I want this play to make a statement on in the world. When I started writing it, it was before quarantine. Obviously now so much has changed. I think that I need to narrow down the focus of my play to figure out what I'm saying, how it relates to the world, how it's showing my perception of the world right now, how it's getting that across, I really like to combine fantastical and real elements in my plays. Obviously, I did that earlier with like Doctor Who fanfiction. But I wrote a children's play that dealt with two worlds. Like, one was a fantasy world, this girl who was writing a story. Part of the play was her story come to life, part of it was what she was dealing with at school, with bullies and things. I really like injecting that kind of fabulism, that magical realism into real life in plays, because I think putting that element into my plays says something more about the world and says something more about where my mind is at in the world that we live in today than I could write without that element, without injecting some sort of fantasy, some sort of fabulism, some sort of magical realism into the text. The problem then is just figuring out what I mean in the play. Basically, I have a soup of all these elements that I want to cover. I want to cover small town America, small town New England, fall, stone statues, mysteriousness, that vibe from Stranger Things. Basically, with a lot of my plays that I've written, they've been one and done, revising maybe once, maybe none, as opposed to novels, which I know once I'm getting anything on the page that I have to go back and revise it. Playwrights should revise. Maybe I just don't. Since quarantine began, I've gotten so much better at revising my plays. I think this is just a way for me to process my thoughts, a way for me to process where I'm at with this play, where I'm at with my thoughts on playwriting. Basically, I just needed a video for tomorrow. But hey, here's a sneak peek of my play. Here's a sneak peek into my notes, my editing process for writing a play. It's different. It's different than I approach novels, obviously. Although maybe not obviously, because so many people I know write novels but also plays. Do they do them the same? I know I don't. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. So you can see on my computer, I've got these handy dandy folders for completed plays and plays in progress. For my plays in progress, I have a bunch of them, but the main one that I'm working on is Stone Statue Play. Ta-da! So this document was actually in my iCloud, so whoops. But hey, here we go, my play that I'm struggling hardcore with. Ta-da! Asking the really, really big questions. It's a lot, folks. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I feel like I'm making a TikTok here. With plays, I think there's more of a need to get what you want across to the audience, what you want to say across to the actors as well. There's more of a need there than in books, because in books the readers can walk away with any old interpretation that they want. But for plays, I feel a very, very real need for people to know what I'm saying, at least to a certain extent. I don't know what that is with this play. I might be writing too much of a mashup, too much of magical, mystical realism, etc. in this play, that it's bogged down in the fantastical, that it's bogged down in the fabulism. I'm stuck. I think what I'm trying to say with this video is that I'm stuck. I don't know where to go from here in my play. This started out as like a manifesto, now it feels like a confession. Basically, I'm stuck with this play. If anyone wants to read it, please give me a shout. Please message me. Let me know your thoughts down below about playwriting. If you've ever written plays, what your thoughts on playwriting might be, what your thoughts on playwriting versus novels versus, I don't know, fiction might be. Does every story have to have a purpose? Can you leave that up to the audience? Do you also feel the pressure, the need to tell some part of you, to tell some truth on the page? Do you feel the need to communicate that truth to the world, to the audience somehow? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I know this was kind of a weird video and different from my recent content, but hey, playwriting, it's fun. You should do it, even though I'm stuck. My experience writing plays shouldn't be the litmus test for you. Go out and write plays. Everybody do theater. Everybody do theater now. During the pandemic, I've been feeling a need to write more, to express myself more through fiction, through plays, through it all. And I think it can be very frustrating to have a block like this, to not be getting past it, to keep writing and writing and writing and then not have it go anywhere, to not figure out what the purpose of this play is, because right now I feel like lots of people, me included, need a purpose throughout everything that's been going on. YouTube has been great for that. YouTube has been wonderful for that. And I think it's just a matter of articulating that purpose, or a purpose. or a purpose onto the page through my characters, through what they need to say, acknowledging what I need to say, acknowledging what the characters need to say. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please continue the conversation in the comments. Let me know down below what you think. Let me know down below what you think of plays. Let me know if you want me to make another video about playwriting, about my experience as a playwright, about what I'm struggling with right now. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.